Hey friends, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we're going to continue our conversation about Jeffrey Epstein. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com, where you can find all of our latest content, interviews, reports, podcasts, etc. I'll also remind you guys that there is an upcoming free online 5G crisis summit with plenty of awesome people involved, scientists, researchers, journalists. I'll be involved. Check it out and sign up for that. Follow us on all of our alternative social media platforms. Don't rely on YouTube. Sign up for our text list right here at this little blue cloud and get our email newsletter, which I send out every couple weeks or so. Finally, if you want to support me and my efforts, I do really want to highlight that I am supported completely independently of any other organization. I write articles for The Mind Unleashed periodically, but mostly I'm supported through your support, your donations, your investments in my efforts. So if you'd like to support me and get a free ounce of kratom, check out this link for My Brave Botanicals. They also have CBD. You can also buy our shirts if you want to support me that way, or just sign up to support on patreon.com/Derrick Broze, because we're about to get back to documentary production and I need your help to do this. So please step up to the plate and help me do what I do. All right, so let's just go through a run-up of some of the recent Jeffrey Epstein news. I didn't do a video about Jeffrey Epstein being found in his cell with bruises or marks around his neck and an apparent suicide attempt, where they say that his one of his cellmates, who is also a former cop and a murderer, claims that he stopped him from killing himself. But what we did find out recently that I think is worth updating. Well, for one, I will say this is so Epstein is either going to kill himself or that's just what we're being told. And so far it seems like that's about as good as we're going to get. We can speculate. We can imagine who wants Jeffrey Epstein dead. And there's probably quite a few people. But at this point, we don't know. So I won't waste our time on that. But what I will say is we have this report from just yesterday. Jeffrey Epstein got court documents claiming he raped a 15-year-old girl the day before he was found injured in his jail cell. So this could make sense as far as why he might want to kill himself, if he thinks that, oh, wow, the evidence is just piling up. Or the people who were supporting him and helping him are turning on him now and pulling up all kinds of evidence. He thought he was the honeypot, and now he's being brought down. We'll see if he brings anybody down with him. A day before Jeffrey Epstein was found mysteriously injured in his jail cell, he was served legal documents detailing a woman's claim that he raped her in his New York City mansion when she was just 15 years old. Jennifer Rose plans to sue Epstein, claiming sexual assault, battery, and rape, and she is asking a judge to order Epstein to submit to a deposition where he can be asked by her lawyers to identify the identity of a female recruiter who allegedly conspired with him to identify her as a potential sex abuse victim. I would say that's Ghislaine Maxwell, who we've talked about before here on this channel, recently talking about Epstein's connection to Israel through her father, Robert Maxwell. And she plans to sue Epstein next month for claims of sexual assault, battery, and rape, which she says happened when she was a New York high school student in 2001, according to a court filing. And she is asking the judge to, again, order him to be submitted to a deposition and helping her identify the recruiter, which we could just say is probably Ghislaine Maxwell or one of the other women that Epstein kept around him to recruit young girls, not women, young girls. This one says 15 years old when she was raped by him. So that is another interesting development going on in the background of while we wait for Epstein to actually go to court, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, because I've told you guys I plan to be there. Well, it looks like we're going to have to wait for quite a bit to get his day in court. But before we get to that, the Miami Herald recently reported that a lawmaker says that she's been told to back off her call for a probe of Jeffrey Epstein's work release. Florida Senator Lauren Book has reached out to the Capitol Police, claiming that she received an anonymous warning connected to her demand for a state investigation into Palm Beach Sheriff Rick Bradshaw's handling of Jeffrey Epstein's work release program. Of course, we all know Jeffrey Epstein got the sweetheart deal. Well, some of the law enforcement were a part of that, including Palm Beach Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, who handled this case for the department and gave Epstein his work release program, which we know was 16 hours a day outside of his jail cell, his stockade, and 8 hours a day sleeping there. and where he was on quote unquote work release, where he was still allowed to receive guests. And apparently some of those guests were indeed still young girls visiting him while he was on work release for crimes against underage girls. So this woman, she says that she wrote a letter to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis asking him to authorize a probe into how Epstein was permitted to leave the Palm Beach County Jail and spend much of his 2008-2009 incarceration in an office in West Palm Beach, which is what he was allowed to do for work release. DeSantis said Thursday after a cabinet meeting that he would certainly consider an investigation, but has yet to decide how the state should respond. He says, "I saw someone sent me a letter. I looked at it. I've got to figure out what the proper role is. I know they're investigating it down in Palm Beach. Clearly, when you look at how that happened, even if like 10% of the things about him are true, then that whole agreement was obviously suspect and willfully below what he should have faced." So, will there be an investigation? Who knows? But this investigator is claiming that she is being told to back off. This is Florida Senator Lauren Book, who is, again, calling for an investigation. Vocal advocate for child sex assault survivors, says she's received more than a dozen calls from his political supporters asking her to back off her call for an investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So people are telling her, back off, don't look further into this. It could hurt this local sheriff here. Or maybe there's more things to be uncovered about what exactly went on in that time. Hopefully she will continue, but there's just another piece of the puzzle. And then I saw this reported in The Sun and repeated elsewhere. I know, like, The Sun, it's not really the bastion of deep investigative journalism, but let's check it out either way. In danger, Jeffrey Epstein's life in jeopardy as powerful pals don't want their secrets out, victim's lawyer claims. This is on July 29th. Spencer Coven, who represents three of the billionaire's sex trafficking accusers, threw doubt on the claims that the financier attempted suicide. Epstein, of course, was found on the floor. The Coven believes Epstein knows so much dirt about his rich and famous friends that there may be some individuals willing to organize a hit. I question whether or not it was a true suicide attempt that Mr. Epstein was involved in jail, or whether or not there may be some powerful people who just don't want him to talk, Coven told The Sun online. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen this repeated anywhere else. I haven't seen this lawyer's name with the victims, but there are several lawyers representing the victims. So either way, I think he's kind of stating a no-brainer, sort of duh. Jeffrey Epstein's life could be in jeopardy, that his powerful friends don't want their secrets out, and we can go on and on and say, are those friends Trump? Are those friends Clinton? Are they Prince Andrew? Does this really have to do with Israeli politics? Some would say that the whole Epstein release, all this information was more about affecting Israeli politics than anything in America, or maybe both. But at the moment, this is all we know. Now, for the last piece of information today that I want to discuss with you related to Jeffrey Epstein, it is that Jeffrey Epstein appeared in court today, and apparently he looked healthy. This is his first court appearance since being found injured in his cell. And amongst this information, I found some new details that we need for keeping up with the case. U.S. District Judge Richard Berman had denied bail earlier this month. We talked about this. Epstein's appeal of that ruling and subsequent incident in the special housing unit of his lockup did not come up at today's conference. Instead, what they were meeting for today was to decide on a schedule for Epstein's trial. And it appears that we're going to have to wait till summer 2020 for Epstein's trial to begin. They're saying June or September 2020. The prosecutors of the women accusing him of rape are saying June, and the Epstein's team are saying September 2020. They want to wait till after Labor Day 2020. And then there's going to be another court hearing on October 28th. There will be oral arguments related to different motions that are kind of going on on the side of the case as far as what can be brought in, what can't. And there are some important details in there. But I'm going to wait till the actual trial starts, because that's when most of the things, the dirt, I think, will come out. But at the same time, we're being told that's going to be a whole year. What happened to a speedy trial? I think that this is unfortunate because Epstein could theoretically kill himself, or he could get hurt by somebody, or this also gives them time to debate what's going to happen to him and maybe find a way for him to craft a deal and get out of the whole thing. But according to one report, there are probably millions of pages of documents that are going to be released through this trial, and so the lawyers are saying they need lots of time to work on it, and that's kind of where we're at. So Epstein is locked up as far as we know. He's going to be going to court hearings for the next year. They're deciding on June or September of next year. A senator is being threatened and told to back off of investigation into Epstein's time with the Palm Beach County Sheriff and the Sheriff's Office, who was watching him during work release for the sweetheart deal that he got in 2008. And court documents have recently, from another ongoing case that is coming up, saying that Jeffrey Epstein raped a 15-year-old girl. This happened right before he was found injured in his cell. So lots of new information coming out, and we will continue to look into that. I'm going to continue to dissect some various pieces of the puzzle. I did put out an article about Jeffrey Epstein's intelligence connections, which we covered in a recent video, and I'm going to be doing another video and article on Jeffrey Epstein's wealth and the source of his money, digging deep into that. So stay tuned for all of that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And please like, subscribe, follow, share. And if you want to support, sign up on patreon.com/Derrick Broze. And until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.